Which official Nintendo controllers have stood the test of time the best? Hello everyone, Karsty5 here, and welcome to a brand new video. Nintendo's made controllers in many different shapes and sizes over the years, and obviously some things have changed, but others have stayed the same. So let's take a look, see how they're different. The very first controller over here for the Nintendo Entertainment System. It was the iconic start with a very boxy design. However, it can get really uncomfortable to hold after long periods of time. 2 buttons and a D-pad, as well as start and select buttons, which aren't used too much in games. And it's really all you need, but of course, some games obviously need more buttons. Next up is the Super Nintendo controller, which is the obvious evolution of the original NES controller, of course with its name as well. There's an amazing ergonomic design which is comfortable in all lengths of playtime. 4 buttons, perfect for fighting games, as well as 2 shoulder buttons, which are used in interesting ways across many different games. And the 4 buttons here were easy for fighters, which is probably why Street Fighter 2 is such a popular game on the system. Next up is this Nintendo 64 controller, which is interesting as it's the first Nintendo controller to really come in a whole bunch of different colors and styles. Well, not really styles, they all pretty much look the same with this weird 3-pronged design. Includes an analog stick, which, although it's not the best, serves the test of time pretty well, but not if you played a lot of Mario Party. Carried over from the original NES controller, we have 2 buttons, A and B, as well as the C buttons, which are used for enhanced camera control. The select button was ditched here for some unknown reason, and there's also a D-pad. Over on the back, we still have the 2 shoulder buttons, as well as the Z button, which is kind of like the trigger of a gun, which was used in games such as GoldenEye 64. As well, there's this little spot in the back where you could fit memory cards or the Rumble Pack, which pretty much brought Rumble functionality into the mainstream. Now, I would call this controller the mainstream analog stick, which pretty much brought this controller feature into pretty much every controller since. Next up, we have the favorite of most competitive smashers, the Nintendo GameCube controller. Now, this controller pretty much improved every aspect from its predecessor, with a better analog stick that serves the test of time better and doesn't wear out and get all loose. We have a C-stick for more enhanced camera controls, a D-pad which still isn't used too much, and of course that feature kind of stayed the same. The Z button was then moved to behind the R button, and we had the return of the A, B, X, and Y buttons, but they're in kind of a weird location. Also, the select button is still gone in exchange for a start/pause button. And this controller is very comfortable. I would say it's one of my favorite designs overall of all these controllers. Next up, we have the Wii Remote, or Wiimote as it's actually sometimes called. It is the first Nintendo controller to be 100% wireless, meaning every single model that was made is wireless, unlike the GameCube controller, which most versions are still wired. However, there was a Wavebird version which did have wireless capability. When you turn this controller on its side, it looks pretty much like the NES controller. However, it has motion controls, which is a pretty interesting spin on gaming, which completely disrupted the industry and made the Wii one of the more popular systems of the day, the second best selling compared to the PlayStation 2. And the A and B buttons, however, are on different sides of the controller, which is kind of interesting. But there is a plus-minus button and a home button. There's also a speaker, which is kind of interesting, as it's actually used in some games for different chants or yells in Smash Bros. And just overall cool features. This includes Rumble built in, and on the bottom here we do have a little plug where this nunchuck can be plugged in, as well as the Classic Controller Pro, which pretty much makes this more of a viable controller for different types of games like shooters or pretty much anything that involves more buttons. Finally, we have the Wii U, or as some people call it, the tablet, which has this nice big touchscreen right in the middle, which you can control with a stylus. And this controller is probably the most similar to brand new controllers like the Xbox or PlayStation controllers, because if you take out the screen, it's It has the dual analog sticks as well as a D-pad and 4 shoulder buttons on the back, which it's plenty of buttons for all of your gaming needs. The only downside to this controller is that there is a very short 4-hour battery life, but it can be improved by sticking in a battery pack back here. However, it is sold separately, sadly. Now, a really cool feature of the Wii U gamepad is the fact that there's this little NFC sensor here, where you can tap in different amiibos or, well, it's pretty much everything that it's used for now, but it's still a really cool feature that kind of didn't make much sense when this controller first came out, but as the life cycle of the system has continued, has become more and more relevant. After looking back on all of these controllers, it really makes you wonder, what will the NX controller be like? Because if you see, no design really ever stays the same. Nintendo controllers are constantly changing, and the designs vary from system to system. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Feel free to like and subscribe and check out the rest of my channel. I hope you have a great day. Bye.